Welcome back to Intellipaat's YouTube channel. In today's video, we will be learning about Excel formulas and functions. But before we begin the session, make sure to subscribe to our channel and also hit on the bell icon so that you will never miss an update from us.
So today's topic is Excel formulas and functions. This is the agenda for today's video will be in Excel there are lots of inbuilt functions. So in this video we will be looking onto some of the few functions under date and time, engineering functions, information functions, logical functions, maths and statistics, and later we will wind up the video after text functions. And this video is for beginners and there are loads and lots and tons of functions in Excel which the industry use. But in this video we have covered only few basics. So let's see what all we have under each headings, and the first topic is date and time. So as you all know, Excel is something that helps us to sort out data, clean the data, and help us derive meaningful insights from data, right? So there are so many inbuilt functions. So under date and time, see, whenever a company HR is using, so they'll have loads of data about the dates, the date of joining, the date of birth of the employees, and there are so many things like that. So in order to help those kind of industrialists or those kind of people, there are so many inbuilt functions like date, where you can actually create a proper date from the year, month and day is given, and then comes the day. If there is a date but you only want a day from that, you can do that. And similarly, you can separate month as well as year from a particular date. And then comes the days, that is the number of days between the end date and the start date. Don't worry, we will just move on to the tutorial part or the hands-on part where you can see how all these functions works. I'm just giving you a summary here. And then comes the days, as I have already told. Let's say for example an employee wants to know or a person wants to know how many days a person has worked. So what is the number of days between the joining date and resigning date. So all such data can be calculated from these things. So it's all about the days that's actually used for easy filling of Excel sheets between two dates. So what is the fraction? So if we say it's just 6 months, it will be 1/2 or 0.5, right? So how, but if it is 6 months, it's very easy to calculate. But then if it is more complicated, how do they calculate it? It's very easy using Excel. So let's see how these functions are used. Yes, so here I have created some random data. I have given random year, day as well as month. So our first function was date. So we need to get a date from these three data, right? So how do you get that? Okay, so if you're a complete beginner, if you're new to Excel, this is how various functions over here, this is where you type, I can generate a date from these data. So I usually go by typing equal to and date. You might be wondering why am I going for date, equal to date. That's because if you simply type date, that will only end up data, not the function. So as you can already see here, when I type equal to date, there are so many functions related to or related with the term date. These are all functions, and what we need is this function. So click on that. Shows that in order to receive the date, they need a year, they need a month, and they need a day. So let's see year, that is 1998, and then put a comma. Then the highlighted part, big letter is now on months. So the month is 5 and comma, and next comes the day. Choose the day over here. So and close the bracket. That's how the syntax of the functions works. Whenever you are using functions, you need to close the syntax. That's how it works. I hope all of you are familiar with that. If not, just understand that now. So let's see and just type enter. So see, you got the date 6/5/1998. Similarly, you can do this for all these many functions. Okay, I have created a lot of random data. But don't you think it's very difficult to type this data, select this for all these data? So what you can do is, so see 31/8/2021, 5/7/2028, this same thing can happen. So let's see once again, it is equal to date, then year, comma, month, comma, day, close the syntax, enter to get the date. And then make, like, you can simply drag it down. It's like you need to click on the corner and see, get the plus value over there, and just scroll down so that you get the dates. That means this scrolling down means the function that we applied here is correspondingly applied to these rows. That is what it says. So now see, we have got, let's reduce this size. Yeah. So now we got the dates, we scroll down. So now the next function that we had was the day. See, if we want the particular day from this date, okay, the day is 18, the month is 1, and I just want to know on this particular cell, I want to know what is the day of this date. So I'll simply type equal to day. You can get that, and then serial number is the address of this, okay. So I close the syntax. See, I got 18. Similarly, if you go for a month, you get the month over here. There are lots of functions, okay. We are just covering only the basic functions. So if you want to explore, you can try enter, it's 1, and you can also go for year like that. If you search, then close that syntax, enter. So that is, oh my god, it's 1,83,000 days. Oh yeah. That's it. So, if I want to find the days between, see, I applied the same function to all these two dates, but as you can see here, there's a negative value over here. The negative value happens because the end date and start date got exchanged. Because here the end date is 2500 and start date is 1998. But then see here, the end date is 1963 and the start date is 2028. That's the reason for this negative sign over here. Similarly, you can find the networking days. So let's see how this happens. And I said network days, the function comes, open the bracket. You have to open the bracket in case if they haven't opened it, okay. So there comes the bracket. Now you have to find the start date, that is 1998. Comma, the end date is here. Let's say it's a huge number, so I hope so you can actually put a comma and give holidays. I'm giving 5 holidays, okay, and then there you go. Close the syntax. See, now you got the net working days. And if you drag it down, you get the number of net working days between. Okay, this is pretty simple. See, the number of days between this number, that is January 1, 2021 and January 31, 2021. So the total days is 30 days, and out of that there will be Sundays and Saturdays, that is weekends, and the holidays are reduced. We gave 5 holidays actually, so all those are reduced, and then the net working days is 21. So these kinds of information data is available. And yeah, now we have year or year fraction. So let's see that also. Here we'll say go for year frac. It's year fraction, okay. So start date is, okay, let's go for this, okay, this is just 1 month of 2021, right? So I'll go for this as start date, and then end date, that is 20. I'll just give 1 month. Let's see, it's 1/12, right? Let's see what is the fraction they are giving. If it is 1 month, it will be 1/12. So and basis is usually usually give 1 or 0, but now we'll give 1. So yeah, close it. So we got the year fraction for this particular cell, okay, this particular row, that is 2021, these date. I have found the year fraction for that. Actually, you can find year fraction for only a particular year or particular time of a particular year. So 1/12 is 0.083. So that is what we got here. So maybe I'll try dragging it down and see what's happening here. Actually, these years are different. That's why we're getting 0 and We have actually found the value over here, and that's why we are getting a value error. The value is 0.082, that's fine. So, year fraction can be applied to only that particular time period of a particular year. That is, the year of the end date and start date should be same in order to calculate the year fraction. So, this January month, that is the 1st of January and 31st of January, that is 1 by 12. That is the fraction mathematically. So, it has given us this fraction. So, that's all about date and time. So, now let's go back to our PPT. So, next comes the engineering functions. So, engineering function, the major engineering function is convert function, where you can convert a data from a particular unit to another unit. It can be from centimeter to meter, millimeter to meter, or a decimeter, picometer. You can convert to any data, and the formula is equal to convert, and you have to choose the number, the from unit and the to unit. There are particular codes for units which we will see, and the quotations are very necessary, because if you don't use it, it will show error. So this function is very important it's very helpful for all the engineers over there, all the students over there, and all the people who are working in labs, because back in college I remember I struggled a lot with converting these data from one unit to another, and Excel was the savior and this function was the savior. So I'm pretty sure that it's going to help many people over there. So let's see that function now. Okay, so for engineering function, let's try a simple conversion right now. So now it's weight in grams. So now if you want to convert to pound mass, that's LBM. So you can use that equal to convert. You can get the function over here and the number, comma, then from unit, that is double quotes, that is in grams, right? Grams is represented as G, close the double quotes, comma, and the to unit is pound mass, that is LBM, close the double quotes and close the syntax, equal to. Oh, yeah, we got it. So that is 2 grams in pound mass will be this. So 4 grams and 6 grams, you can simply drag it down as we have already done, and that's it. So let's see how to convert that into kilograms. So it will be pretty much easy for you to understand the correctness of the value. Equal to or convert, and then the number, comma, open double quotes or quotations, from unit is gram. Oh, sorry, then comma, double quotes, comma, comma, and 2 unit, that is our kilogram. So that too in double quotes, kilogram, close the double quotes, close the syntax and enter. So now you understand that it's right? Because pound mass, it's not easy for us to calculate. So dragging it down, you can see it here. See? So we converted gram to kilogram. So now let's go back to our PPT. Yeah. So there are lots of units from which you can convert. Now we use the gram. So, but the thing is that when you're using this function, you have to understand how these units are represented, because for gram it's G and for kilogram it's kg. And for ton, you have to type the whole thing. So that particular thing has to be known. So if you know that, you can win any kind of conversions in a very less time. See, you can convert the distance from meter to any unit like yard, foot, inch, angstrom, light year, parsec. Oh my god, there's lots of data. Then there is magnetism data like Tesla and Gauss. And there are other functions like time, pressure, area, energy. There are lots of data. So don't be overwhelmed by these data. There are more. Let's take a look into one more example here. Okay, so there is a time in hour, so we need the time in minutes. So 1 hour is 60 minutes, we know that. So just to see how it works, let's see, convert, and then the number. You can also give a 1, okay, instead of giving a particular cell, you can actually give it as 1, and then comma, double quotes, from unit is hour, HR, and then to unit is minutes, MIN. Close the bracket. So 1 hour is 60 minutes. So if you drag this down, you can also see 2 hours, 120 minutes, 3 hours, 80 minutes. So now let's go back to PPT. Yeah. So as you can see here is also another set of shortcuts or the term that you have to use while converting or while using the convert function. So yeah, there is units of speed, temperature, information like bits, and then volume, different units are available. So it's going to be a big savior for many people. So next comes the information functions. So information functions are those functions which actually checks the information or the value is in a particular cell and then returns us with true or false according to the which function that we are using. So that's how information function works. So let us take a look into few basic information functions. Always remember that all the functions mentioned here in this video are simple basic functions which is always combined to form complex functions while using it in an industry or a project or anything. So since we have to clear the basics first, that's why we are going with the basic functions here. So the first function is NA. That is, this function, when we use this particular function, this function will check if any of the cell is containing NA or not available error. So if there is this not available error, then this function will give us true and false if there is no error or this particular error. Okay, and then is number checks if a cell contains a number or not, and then if there is a number, then they will give us true value, or if there is no number, then they will give us false value. And then there is text, similarly checks for text, and is blank checks for a blank value. And let's see how these functions are working, because explaining it is not going to make anything better, or you can't understand it. So let's take a look. Okay, so here we have, these are the different types of errors that can come in Excel. So in these types of errors, this is NA function will return a true value only for this error. So let us check if this function is able to do that. So as you all know, in order to call a function, it's equal to and is NA, you just type it and you get the function. So here I am using this particular value, closing the bracket, enter. So this function returned false because there is no NA error here. So I am going to drag it down and check for the rest of the cells. And as you can see, when there is NA error, they have returned, or this function have returned true value, and all the rest values are false. So that's how is NA function works. And let us check for is number function, which checks for the numbers. So similarly, calling is number function, you have to double click that, don't forget that, checking for the value, closing the bracket, and see, 1 is a number, so the number function return, is number function return true, and I have added so many numbers over here. So let's see that. See, when I applied the function, when there is only number, that is 1, 1 by 2, 0.5, whether it's a fraction, whether it's a decimal, the number is number function were able to recognize this and they returned the value of true. When there was a mix of letters as well as numbers, then they returned as false. And when there was only letters, also then those functions returned false value to me. So that's how is number function works. Now let's see for is text. It checks for the text functions, okay?
Just a quick info, guys. Intellipaat provides advanced Microsoft Excel training mentored by industry experts, the course link of which is given in the description below. Now, let's continue with the session.
Equal to the text and then the value. Close the bracket, enter. Sorry, it's not text, it's text. Just a second. Yeah, it's is text. Okay, it's not text. So see, there is text and it returned me true. That means the cells, okay. So you might find it as, oh, it's very simple. Can't you see, just it's ABC and it's text. So why is it necessary to use a function? You might think like that, but understand that this is only very short or very simple example that I made in order to make you all understand. But when it comes to an industry level, there will be huge amount of data from which you have to understand which is the text. You have to sort the data. So when it comes to that, okay, let me explain it to you in a simple manner. This is simply a laboratory level where you manufacture only a small quantity, but when it comes to the reality or real life, the quantity will be very high, right? In the laboratory, you will manufacture only 1 gram of a particular chemical, and when it comes to the industrial level, the plants will manufacture around tons and tons, right? Lakhs and tons of product, right? So similarly, that's how this also varies. So, and let's just check this isText function for the remaining. See, when there was text, it was able to identify, and the text, the function returned me true value. And when there is a mix of text and numbers also, it was able to return me true value. But there was only numbers, it could return me false. So that's how these function works. And another function that we said is isBlank function. It checks if the cells are blank. Okay, so let us see. Equal to isBlank is here, and then you click on that. There is a value over here. This cell is not blank, so this isBlank function has to return me false value again over here. And let's see if this function is able to do that. Yes, it has. So let me drag it and check up to here. So as you can see here, it's all false here, but there is a blank value over here because we are searching for, or we are using this isBlank function for these particular cells. So all these cells have values, but this particular cell have no value, or this particular cell is blank. So that is isBlank. So it has returned me the value of true. So that's how these function works. And there's another function called not available function, because, so let's see, you have a set of data of your employees, but one of the employees hasn't submitted a particular data or a particular maybe ID card, so you don't have their number available. So you want to give there as not available. So you can also give or produce this not available error by using this function that is equal to NA. This doesn't require any argument for that. So you only have to close that bracket and simply put enter, and there it is. So that's how the information function works. And like as I have already mentioned in the video before, it's not only these few functions, there is lots and lots of functions like these which you can always explore. And since this is a beginner level, now let's go back to our PPT. So the next topic is logical functions. There are lots of logical functions, and I have included the basic logical functions of AND, OR, if and ifs, and not XOR in this video. You can always explore more, as I always keep saying throughout this video. Okay, the first one is AND. So AND is to test if there are multiple conditions. If all the conditions are satisfied, then the AND function returns true value. Okay. OR functions checks if only any one of the condition is true. If any one is true, then OR functions return us true value, or the value true. The syntax or the formula is like you can use equal to, and it's like calling any other function. And when it comes to if function, it actually AND and OR actually tests for a condition and they return the value true or false. If function is used to test a particular condition, and also we can determine if actually gives us the freedom to determine what value should be returned when the value is true and when the value is false. See, the syntax for if value is if, then the logical test, the condition, whether a particular value is greater than one value or whether a particular value is true, whether there is a text, whether there is a if a cell contains a text value, if a cell contains number value, or anything. You can do anything based on your requirement. So if that is true, what value should be returned? That can be given here, and what value should be returned if the condition is not satisfied can also be given here. So that is what makes out if function much more better function. And When it comes to ifs function is actually a combined if function or a nested if function, and it is easy to use also. The ifs function check if one or more conditions are observed or not, and accordingly returns a value that meets the first true condition. And then the other functions are not function, true or false function, and exclusively or function. We'll come back to this after checking the examples for these four first, and then we'll return to the function. Okay. The remaining functions. Okay, so here I have like an example. I have made up an example where here we have the names of the employee and their age and their work experience. So there is John, Bob and Maria, their age and the work experience. So we are checking for AND function. So we need a situation where the age of the employee should be greater than 30 and the work experience should be greater than 3. That's what AND function. So if it is, my condition is satisfied, if an employee satisfies this particular condition, then it is true. That's what I want to check with my AND function. So let's see, call the AND function. See, so this age should be greater than 30. It's greater than 30, comma, and the second logical condition AND is work experience should be greater than 3. Close the bracket, enter. See, age is greater than 30 and work experience greater than 3. It returned me true value. And if I apply the same AND function, that is by dragging, I get for the rest. And for Maria, this condition is not satisfied and it's false. This is a small data, so it's easy to understand. But when it comes to very big data, consider having employees like 1,000 employees. How will you do it? You can't do anything. So you can only apply it using this function. Okay. So when it comes to OR function. Okay. So now I have given a condition where either the work experience should be greater than 2 or age should be greater than 35. So, okay. So there is some situation where these people are preferred. So you want to know whether your employees are satisfying either of the condition. Either the work experience should be greater than 2 or the age should be greater than 35. So let's see who are those employees using OR function. So equal to or, double click on that, either the age greater than 35, comma, second logic is work experience greater than 2 years. Any of the condition shall be obeyed. Enter and then true. Applying it to the rest conditions and then, okay, Maria doesn't satisfy this condition. Her age is not greater than 35 or she doesn't have work experience more than 2. So that's how OR functions works. And then comes the if function. Okay. I told that if function gives us the freedom to return whatever value that if the condition is satisfied or if the condition is not satisfied. Okay, so I have created a situation here where if the work experience is more than 3 years or if the employee has worked in the company for more than 3 years, the management decides to give a bonus for those people. Okay, 3-year work bonus. Okay, so for their commitment, maybe that depends on the company. Still, let's move on to this. So they have decided to give the bonus. So they want to know if these people are eligible for these bonus. So let's say if equal to if. So logical test. Okay. So the test is work experience greater than 3. Then you have to put the comma and give the value if it is true. If it is true, what we need, they are eligible for bonus. So that is, you have to use double quotes over here, bonus, comma, value if it is false. If they are not having experience more than 3 years, they are not eligible. So I'll give it as double quotes, no any for not eligible, and then I'll close it and end up. See? So now John is eligible. So bonus, you have to give him bonus, not eligible. See, if there is lots and lots of employees, this particular function is very useful. And also you can actually combine if this AND function, if age is greater than 30 and work experience is more than 2 years, then you can return. So actually you can combine the values, okay. And in the PPT we have told about ifs function, that is combining if function, right? So let us take a look into that here, ifs function. Okay, so imagine a situation where there are different marks. So there is 95, 90, 82, 80, like that in a class for an exam there are different marks. So what I have is, I have to decide grades for these marks. So I have already set in my mind that above 90 is A grade, above 80 is B grade, and above 70 is C grade. Similarly, I have made it. So here I have done it already, but still I'll just explain it to you and I'll do it once again for you. See, if the marks or the value here in this column or in this cell is greater than 90, the value that has to be returned is A grade. If the value is greater, then comma, put the comma, then the next if condition. I told you ifs are combined if values, right? So again, if the value is greater than 80, return the value B. If the value is greater than 70, then return the value C. The returning value should be in quotations or double quotes. So make sure you use the double quotes. If you make mistakes over here, you might not get the result. So let's check for this. I have already done this, but it will take a little time, but still we can see equal to calling the ifs function. Okay, so ifs function, if this value is greater than 90, the value that should be returned, okay, you should put a comma over here. Value if true is returned is A grade, comma, if this same value D63 is greater than 80, the value returned should be B grade. You can actually use this in different situations. I'm just using it for this example over here. And comma, if the value D63 or in the cell D63 is greater than 70, the value returned should be C grade. Okay, so since it's a small example, so now see, for 90 it's B grade. If it's only above 90, it's A grade, right? So let me apply the same thing to these different cells and I get my results. See, A, B, C. The thing is that if you take 80 is actually greater than 80 as well as greater than 70. So it actually determines the closest value. Okay, that's why it's for B grade. So, and let's move back to the PPT. So we have seen the example for AND with the work experience as well as the age. Similarly for OR, if and ifs with the class example. So let's see some more functions over here. That is not function, true or false function, and exclusively OR function. Not function is, these functions actually return the opposite value. So if a condition is satisfied, true value or the value true is returned. If you use not over there, instead of true, they'll return false. Okay, these functions will return false. And if the actual solution for a particular condition is false, but if you use a not value instead of false, the not or the opposite of that is false. The opposite of false is true. So true will be returned. Let's see that, okay. And then comes the true or false function. It is simply to generate the value true or false. The syntax goes like this. You don't have or you don't require any parameter or argument over here. And then comes the exclusively OR function, which we will look later. But first let's see not function as well as true or false function. Okay, so the condition is not greater than or equal to 4. So work experience not greater than or equal to 4. Here I have done the example as you can see here. I'll do it once again. If the function, this is how you give it, not, you can also see the function here, right? So not, this value should be greater than or equal to 4. So actually is the value here greater than or equal to 4? Yes, 5 is greater than or equal to 4. So that condition is true. So not function of true value is false, right? I hope you understand. Let's see for this function equal to not. See, the definition that Excel gives for not function is it changes falses to true and true to false. So I hope you understand and you're not confused. Not what? This value greater than or equal to 4. Close the syntax. Is this value, it's 4. Is 4 greater than or equal to 4? Yes. So the condition is true. So when we use not, true is changed to false. So applying it, see, is 2 greater than or equal to 4? No. That means the condition is not satisfied. The answer is false. When we use not, false is returned to true. So that's how not function works, and it has its own usages in different industries. And then comes the true or false functions, where you can simply call this function without any argument, like true. Here you have true and you have to close this. See, they return the value true. This is only for the purpose of this. Now let's take a look into the truth table of exclusively OR function in order to understand what is said. So we talked about OR function, right? Whenever either the condition or either the statement is true, the function gives an output as true or the one value. Yeah, that's it. So that is an inclusive OR. So here it is exclusive OR or exclusively OR function. So what does it mean? Because in inclusive or general or simple OR function, whenever either one condition is satisfied, it gives a positive output, and even when both the conditions are satisfied, the OR function gives a positive output. But when it comes to this exclusive OR, it's not like that. When both the conditions are true, it gives it doesn't give a positive output. Okay, it gives a negative output, or there is no output. It's 0. There is no 1. And this considers only those situations or conditions where only either one of the statements are true. Only then it gives a true value or a positive output. Hope you understand this truth table. If not, okay, let's go back to the example and you'll understand it then. Okay, so now we have a match. Those who want to go to match 3 and match 4 has to win at least one game. Okay, so let's say team A won both the match, so they don't have to play match 3. They directly go to match 4 or the next level or the higher level. And those who lost the game, they don't play match 3. But the people who won at least one game, that is or either match 1 or match 2, they are eligible for match 3. So that means according to exclusive OR condition, if we apply it to this particular situation of the game where this A, B, C, D are the 4 players, and if we are using XOR or exclusively OR function to determine which of the team is eligible to play match 3, then it should say B and C, because these two, they won both the matches, so they are not eligible for match 3.
Just a quick info, guys. Intellipaat provides advanced Microsoft Excel training mentored by industry experts, the course link of which is given in the description below. Now, let's continue with the session.
So I have typed the function already in order to save a little time, equal to if. I have added if in order to say yes or no, and added XOR, exclusively OR, that is, and F70, that is 70, F71 and G71, either match 1 or match 2. And then if they satisfy either this or that, then the function should give yes. And if not, then they should give the output as no. So that's we have here. So let's see, let's apply it to the next rest. See, so the team D lost both the matches, so they are not eligible, and the team A won both the matches, so they too are not eligible. Or the negative output, or there is a false output, or there is a negative output here, but only true output is here when there is only this is known as exclusively OR function. Hope now you understand that this is how it works, and you can actually calculate, or you can actually check or use this function to any situation where this kind of loss wins kind of situations are coming, or any kind of situations where these can be applied. So that's all about the XOR function. So next comes the max and the statistical functions in Excel. Let's take a look onto the basic max and statistical functions. So here I have included the functions like Arabic function, which converts the Roman numerals to Arabic numerals. And then comes the degree, where the degree function converts the angle from radian values to the degree values. And then comes the pi function, which is most important for the people working like in engineering fields or scientific fields or research fields. Yeah, most of the fields, they require the value of pi, so pi function. And then comes the sum function, which is very basic, where you just count the values. And then comes the sum if. It is slightly a moderate level function where you apply a condition to find the sum. Okay, so and the next function which I have included is the trunc function. Trunc function actually reduces the number of digits in a number to a given precision. That's what they truncate the number to a given precision. And then comes the average, which is familiar to everyone. So we will take a look into the example where we do all of these functions. And we will also cover average if function. That is, we will just specify a condition in order to find the average. Then maximum and minimum, which is also familiar for all of you. So we will see how that is being done in Excel. And also we will see the slope. That is when we have x values and y values. If that x and y is represented as a straight line, what will be the slope? That can also be found using the slope values. So let us move on to the sheet. Okay, so here I have bought the data. So the data I have given us here, the examples. So here I have got the Roman numerals or Roman numbers. Actually this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 and all these things, these are done using alphabets. Okay, so like if you want say 10, you simply type x, that's capital X, x. So you want to convert it to Arabic numerals, right? So let's call the function equal to Arabic. Here comes our function, choose our value, close the syntax, enter. So see 1, let's apply to all other values and see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 10. So if you have further doubts, like let's make it x, v, I and see that has changed to 16. So that's how this Arabic numeral function works. So let's delete it for a better space. Yeah. And then comes our radian function, right? So, okay, the angle usually ranges between 0 to 2 pi or 0 to pi. So, after pi, it is like multiples, right? So, 0 to pi. So, what is the value of pi? Pi is 3.14. So, in radian, the angle varies between 0 and 3.14 when it is 0 and pi. 0 degree and 180 degree, that is 0 and pi, that is 0 and 3.14. So, I have taken here random numbers between 0 and 3.14 and let us see what these numbers in radian represents them in degrees. Equal to degrees and our angle in radian. Oh yeah, I got all the angles in is equal to sum. So here what we do is physics, comma, chemistry, comma, biology. Close the bracket or close the syntax. We got the arguments for the function, enter. See, we got the same answers. See, there is no difference. So even if you use the formula or even if you call for a function, the answer that you will be getting is same. So that's all about the sum function, and next comes the average function. So we need the average of these 3 students, right? Okay, wait, I will do one thing. To reduce the confusion, we will insert a row here. Yeah, so we need the average mark for physics. So we'll use the word average. We need the average of physics here, right? So we'll call for, you can actually see what will be the average. 85 plus 68 plus 88 divided by 3. As I have already told, this is a simple example. So summing all the 3 together divided by 3 is the average. You can actually create the formula by using the keys on the keyboard like plus and the division key, that front slash. So you can use that and create the formula, or you can call up the function. So let's look into the function part. Average of 1, 2, 3. Close the syntax. See, you got the average 80.33. So you can say these people, this person B is below average, these two are above average. Such information can be understood from this average function, and that's how average function works. Okay, so here we have the data of a company where their sales for a particular region is given here. So we all know to calculate the sum as well as the average, as we have calculated here using the sum formula and the sum function. We can actually calculate the total here by calculating the sum. But what we need is, we have to specify it for a particular location, or we need to apply a condition before we are doing sum. There comes the use of function on a SUMIF. So that is what we are going to look next. So let's take a look into the SUMIF function. So I want the total sales in East. Okay, if you could remember. So the SUMIF function is that SUMIF that we should mention the range, then the criteria range 1, and then the criteria. So similarly we have to use this particular formula. So let's see. So here let's use the SUMIF function equal to SUMIF is here the range. The range that we are applying this function is sales, that is the region as well as the sales, comma. What is the criteria? Criteria is East. We need East. We need to separate the data of East, comma. What is the range? Sum range. That is, we are only using the sales range, and then close it. Yes, we get the total sales in East as 270, isn't it right? 100 plus 170, 270, yeah, that's right. So we didn't go wrong. Now let's take a look into the average if. So similarly we found SUMIF, so it's very similar to average if, where we are finding the average sales in the East region. So equal to, calling the function average if, the range is this, the criteria should be in quotes, East, and then comma, and then the range, that is this, closing it, enter, and the average is 137.5. Yeah, that's true though. So that's how SUMIF and average if function works. And we actually forgot about the trunc function. Okay, trunc. So let's see how that works. Okay, I'm giving a random example here, maybe 6.2883698, something like that. So I want to reduce the number of digits of these part. Okay, so what I would do is call, TRUN, trunc data of this particular number, and I want to reduce the number into 2 values. Okay, after decimal I need 2 values. So I just typed 2 here and then closing the syntax, enter. So see, it's 6.28. So equal to, I'm calling the function again. I need to call the digit, this particular digit, into, I need 3 digits. So that's it, and then see, so now it is 6.288. So now it's rounding off. So that's what trunc function means. Okay, let's see what happens if we use a number like 500, say, and let's say use the trunc function here in this number, trunc this number into 4 digits, close the bracket, enter. It doesn't change. Okay, I knew this actually. Since this is a number without a decimal place, it's 500.00, it doesn't change. So there is no much change, but when it comes to data like this, you can use that function to reduce the number after the decimal. Okay, and then the next function that we said is about the slope function. Okay, so if you have a range of values in the y and for a function, and you have given x, as you all know, we know the slopes maybe y is equal to mx plus c, and mathematically you might know to calculate and find out the slope value m. But how can we find it using this Excel? So let's see that. So just call the slope function equal to slope. So y's. So what they want is y's and what they want is x. So first they need y's. So I am just giving in the y's, comma, and what they need is x now. So x, close the bracket, enter. and you get the slope as 0.72. So I hope I covered the basic mathematical functions. Okay, we left the maximum and minimum function. So let's go on to that. Okay, so yeah, we will do that over this data. I think this is better. We'll delete this. Okay, so we need maximum. So let's call the maximum function equal to max. So in this particular range, it can be number or it can be the range. Okay, I just want it in this range. So ABC, among ABC, I just want to know who scored better and what's the top mark. So the top mark is 88 and I got the maximum value as 88. Similarly, you can find out the minimum. So calling the function here equal to min. You can actually give the number as well as the range. For maximum, we gave the range. So min, let's give the numbers. We put comma and give the numbers. But actually giving the range will be better and will save you a lot of time. But now for the tutorial, let me show you how the result comes. See, the maximum value comes in the range. So for the subject physics, the maximum marks in this particular range is 88 and minimum marks is 68. So that's how it works, and you can apply this at any point, anywhere. And you should keep in mind that we are not doing it for such a small data. We will be doing it for a huge amount of data in the industry while dealing with the real life projects. So that's all about the mathematical functions. Let's go back to the PPT. We have reached the last section of our video, that is the text functions. I have included very few basics of the text functions, that is concatenate, where this function is used to join together text, and left or right, that this function is used to remove or separate a particular number of characters from the right end or the left end of a given text string. Okay, you'll understand it better when we go for the example. And then lower or uppercase and proper case, that is changing the case of the text. These are the three basic functions. Please keep in mind that it's not enough. There are loads and lots of functions, as I keep saying throughout this video. You should explore everything, but as of now, let's see what are these three functions. So yeah, so here we have it. I'll just do it again. Okay, for concatenate, let's call the function concat. And then what we need is that we need to make a sentence here. Okay, that is, as it was there, student A received or got 25 marks out of 30. That's the sentence that I want to make, but I don't want to type it for each of these different students. So I'm going to type, let's see how we can do that. We need to add the term student, right? So student, comma, then the cell containing their name, that is C6, space, student, got, then comma, their marks, D6, space, then, okay, so student A got 25 marks out of 30. That sentence should be there, right? So, marks out of 30. So, that completes the sentence. Student A got 25 marks out of 30. See, we have got the sentence, yay! So, when I drag it, see, student B got 28 marks out of 30, student C got 30 marks out of 30. So, isn't that fun? Yeah. So, now comes the left and right. So, here I have a typical example of an ID number of an employee of a particular company starting with B. Let's say Bob's company. And what I have to remind you here is that this number series or this ID numbers of the employees are having a particular pattern. So, the first letter stands for B, that's for Bob's company, and the second two digits 1718, 171514. These represents the year that they have joined the company. Okay, that is B17 means they joined the company in 2017, 18 means 2018, and 15 means 2015, and 14 2014. And the last two digits actually represents their branch that they are working in. CH stands for chemical, C civil engineering, chemical, BT for biotechnology, and then EE for electronics engineering. Okay, So that shows their department or the branch that they are working in. So this lower and upper function, what they do is that they separate the things, okay. Sorry, not lower and upper, it's left and right. Lower and upper comes under cases, which we are going to see next. But now we are dealing with left and right. So left, 3 characters, B17. They are those people who joined in 2017. So we need to separate the first 3 characters, means we can do that using this left and right. Okay, so first we will see for left equal to, call the function left. This is the text, and how many number of characters we need to understand that. The year. In this example, the first 3 characters gives the year. So how many characters? That is 3 characters, B17. Close it. See, we got it right. Isn't that fun? For the left. And for those, okay, so now we want to know the branch from the employee ID. So we want to see what are all the different branches, or we need to separate it from their employee IDs. So maybe we can add the names also here, so it will be better. So maybe Mark, Bob, John, yeah, similar like that we can give names. So now we need their branch, so branch code. So now we can use the right function, call the right function. The right function from this number and from the right 2 characters in order to get their branch. Yes, so Mark's branch is chemical, Bob's is civil engineering. So isn't that cool? That's the thing with left and right functions. And now we are moving on to the last part, that is the cases. So we have some random names, very random names with there is no proper format for the text and the cases are mixed. So I just want to convert this into lowercase, complete uppercase and proper case, that is capitalizing each word. So let's see how that's done. Equal to, call the function. And then, yeah, we got it. See? So for uppercase, see, we got it. And for proper case, just call the function proper. You got it? Yeah. So if we drag it down, we get it. Yes. So we got everything. This is very helpful and handy for those people who are arranging data of the employees, of the students, like that. So every function in Excel has its own importance in various fields and projects. So now let's go back to the PPT. So that's all about in this video. We have covered some basic functions. So let's wind it up with the final thought, that is, trying to learn Excel without instruction is like trying to learn to read without instruction. So always follow some instruction and be an expert in Excel. It's very easy to learn and with practice you can actually do a lot of steps in Excel.
Just a quick info, guys. Intellipaat provides advanced Microsoft Excel training mentored by industry experts, the course link of which is given in the description below.